Hey, I like football. I know, I'm very brave. I'm very brave for saying that. But I understand that not a lot of you may give a fuck about football. But football is dumb. Football is cool because it's dumb. And what I want to do today is I want to make some kind of attempt to get you to appreciate how fucking dumb and stupid and interestingly dumb and stupid football is. And by football, I do mean American football. The one where you play it with a weird oblong piece of shit ball that bounces like an idiot and you don't really use your feet all that much. Some people really don't give a fuck about sports. You know what you do give a fuck about though? You know what I guarantee every single motherfucker in this chat gives a fuck about? Animals, creatures, critters, little munchkin furry fellas interfering with the great American sport. Look at them. One thing I love also is that sometimes the commentators will just show that they're some of the fucking funniest people on the planet because they will just start calling like what's happening with the animals. Exactly.
Perfect form,
look at them.
Extension, the pigeons.
Oh, the pigeons. Hey, man, there's got too many men on the field. That's cheating. That pigeon was in. I'm not going to show this one, but there's another thing that kind of keeps happening. I think specifically at the stadium that the Buffalo Bills play at. Someone keeps throwing dildos onto the field. Like it's happened different times. Another pigeon. Oh my God, with all of the pigeons. Dude, this pigeon is fearless, man. He's got humans, enormous, muscled humans running around him. He doesn't give a fuck. That is the toughest pigeon I've ever seen. The quail.
Yeah. Look at him go.
The stat line. I haven't seen that one before. Look at the stat line, bro. 1 carry for 14 yards and a touchdown. Dude, this guy's going to the Hall of Fame, man. Rookie of the year, the quail. This one happened more recently. This one happened, I believe, last season. Not only did it happen during a game that was being played by my favorite team, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, it happened at home in Tampa, and immediately after this animal was noticed, a very beneficial play for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers happened. So now it is kind of like an in-joke with Buccaneers fans that this duck is a good luck charm.
Quack, quack.
Commentator. Quack, quack. Look at that. And then they block the punt and take it in for a fucking touchdown. For those who don't know football, I'm going to explain. The camera was too focused on the duck. You didn't even see the play that happened. The Carolina Panthers, the team in white, were punting, which means that they're in a bad position. They're almost out of tries to get to a particular part of the field. So strategically, the best way to do it is to kick the ball all the way down the field and give it back to the opposing team. When they are punting, what the other team tries to do is block the ball after it's been kicked. It's not easy to do, not impossible, but it's pretty rare. And that's what happened when this duck was seen on the field at Raymond James Stadium. This next one, it's really something that I think that everybody can appreciate, even if you don't know anything about football. This is super nerdy, all right? But I feel like it's in a way that we can all appreciate. This is a video by YouTube channel Secret Base, and they're explaining something called Scorigami. Going into this, you don't really need to know anything about football. All you need to know is that the point system in football is unlike any other sport on this planet. There's no way to score 1 point on its own in football. You score in intervals of 2, 3, or 6. This is the entire point of me watching these videos right now, is to tell you football's fucking stupid. And that's why it's cool. And this video by Secret Base is talking about that. And 8 years ago, it started something of a phenomenon among sports nerds. Damn, that is a cool phone. I want that today. Oh, the VMU, video games mentioned. It's okay, guys, stay. Video games mentioned.
This is the Scorigami board. Let's say a game ends with a score of 21-17. So that's here. I don't know about you, but the ideal football game I want to watch is a close game with a decent amount of scoring. The first year the NFL was called the NFL looks like...
Nice. football is stupid. Football's stupid. It has a stupid history. The primordial age of football was so stupid. There was literally a tractor company that fielded an NFL team. On 2 separate occasions during World War II, 2 teams had to squish themselves together into a single team because all their players were dying in Europe. Football is nuts. Did the tractor play? To my knowledge, no. The tractor did not play. I believe there might be something in the rule book that says a tractor cannot play football.
Look, everybody, there's even a 2-0 game. A safety was the only score of the game, and it wasn't just any safety, it was a ground rule safety.
For non-football fans, this is the way to score 2 points in an NFL game. The goal is to get to the end of the field to score a touchdown, right? What if you fall back and get tackled in the other end zone? If you are tackled in the other end zone, that is a safety, and that is 2 points for the other team.
There was a fence in the end zone, and for some reason they decided that if the ball hit the fence, it would be a safety instead of a touchdown, and that's how we have the first 2-0 game in the history of the NFL. And we also have the only
That I
time
did
the
not
team
know.
ever scored exactly 4 points in a game. They did it naturally with
The only
safeties.
time. That's another thing. Like 0-0 games in a lot of sports, very possible. Like if you don't know anything about football, imagine like actually being like, okay, what's so special about 4 points? That's such a pedestrian number. But in American football, only one time in 100 years has a team ended a game with 4 points. It feels like such a pedestrian number, right? But it's so rare. It's happened once in over 100 years.
So what about this block over here? Will we ever see a 4-4 game with both teams scoring 2 safeties and tying? On average, a team scores a safety every 32 games, so the odds of scoring 2 in a game are about 1 in 1,000. The score has to stay at 4 points, so the offense has to be shut out. The odds of that are about 1 in 70. So for a team to finish with exactly 4 points is about 1 in 74,000. Now for this to happen to both teams in the same game, the odds of that would be 1 in about 5.5 billion. Of course, we're still not done because these odds only get us to the end of regulation. This overtime has to be scoreless, right? So the odds of a completely scoreless overtime are about 1 in 87, which means the probability of a 4-4 final score is about 1 in 471 billion games. There are 267 games in a season, so if NFL rules and behaviors never changed, we could expect to see one 4-4 game every 1.7 billion years.
Why is there a sport on the planet Earth made by human beings where a score of 4-4 is this impossible? That's so silly. That's fucking silly nonsense. That's clown shoes. And I know a thing or two about clown shoes, I tell you what. Here's what I like to do, okay? So I understand that a lot of people here may not be interested in football. If I want to get somebody interested in something, I try to like play to their interests when discussing my interests. So like I could sit here and tell you about,
in 2008, the New England Patriots, they went 16-0 during the regular season. Tom Brady was a very good quarterback during that time. Oh, but in the Super Bowl at the end of the season, the New York Giants kept them from having the perfect season.
fucking, like, who cares about that? Let's talk about a score that will not happen for 1 billion years. Imagine at this point, a 4-4 will summon Satan. Like, that's something that this is not discussing. If a game ends 4-4, yes, that's crazy, but that would also be a terrible game. That would be a shitty football game. And that is why Scorigami is cool. Scorigami brings everybody together. Everybody roots for Scorigami. If a game ends and your favorite team loses, but it ends up in a Scorigami, there's always a silver lining. If you don't know anything about football, but you kind of like math and numbers and shit, then you can like look at this and be like, oh, did this game end in a Scorigami?
Before we go, I know I told you I would tell you about the 6-1 score. Let's say they go for 2 and they suffer a safety. On a conversion attempt, you only get 1 point for a safety, not 2. So that is 6-1, but think about what would have to happen here. The offense would have to suffer a safety in their own end zone 98 yards in the wrong direction. That might go something like this. Team A turns the ball over to Team B. Team B runs it almost all the way back, but they fumble right before they get to the end zone. Team A recovers in the end zone, falls on the ball, and is tackled. This can be drawn. I don't think it can be done. Until the day that's done, there will always be one hole in this board, and Scorigami will live forever.
You would need to achieve a faux pas of astonishing proportions to achieve that. It's possible. It is humanly possible. The team achieves this, would be celebrated or infamous. Absolutely. In the world of Scorigami, probably cheered. Probably like just super happy about it. But everybody else, like especially fans of that team, are pissed. Absolutely pissed. But then and then to not score any points for the rest of the game. Like that's what makes it triply impossible. Is not only do you need to score in this way that has never happened before in the over 110-year history of the NFL, but then you have to score no other points the rest of the game for that to happen. Nope. Probably not gonna happen. Let's see. NFL embarrassing moments. This is the most famous embarrassing play in NFL history.
Sanchez gets hit, the ball is loose, and it's alive. And then
the butt fumble just runs directly into his center. Boom. Look at that. Wham. That was a bungled play. Like that play was already going poorly, and then Mark Sanchez just ran directly into his center's ass, dropped the ball, and the Patriots picked it up and took it for a fucking touchdown. Jesus. You may be thinking, oh gee, man, I'm not too big into football, but man, I've never seen the team line up like this. I don't know either. I don't know why they did this. Here's the ball right here. It's going to be hiked to this guy who's not the quarterback. It's 4th down. This one blocker is surrounded by 2 guys. So once the ball is hiked, these 2 guys could just roll around and tackle this guy. All these people over here, no clue what they're doing.
Anderson is behind him. And what in the world?
Okay, this one is crazy. This is one of the craziest fucking things I've ever seen. Okay, so Brett Favre, the Green Bay Packers, the people in green. Okay, throws the ball. Favre targeting this guy right here. And the Minnesota Viking right here is trying to keep him from catching the ball, right? Okay, so tips it, bats it around. It hits number 86, doesn't hit the fucking ground. Still hasn't hit the ground. Hands underneath it, just barely. He brings it in. That is a live ball.
He did what?
This was a really fun stream, at least for me. Thank you all for letting me indulge you in football for a day. People think sports are boring, all that, and that's totally fine. If you still think sports are boring after this, that's also fine. But I hope this at least gave anybody watching a new appreciation for how weird football is.